Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to the show, Larry.
Always good to be here, Jim.
Larry, I know you've always got something cooking down at American Manganese. What's the latest?
Well, we hope to have a press release out this week, but, it certainly will be next week, and but that's just part of the progress that's being made. What I really keep a close eye on is what's happening in the recycling market and who's getting involved, and I've come across some interesting things that I want to talk about today. And one is that there was a press release that came out that the three major companies in the European Union, Aramet, BASF, and Suez, partnered to develop an innovative closed-loop process for the recycling of lithium-ion batteries. And I like this part, responding to the strong growth of the market in the coming years, and certainly we've been seeing that. And they've been awarded 4.7 million euros to get that kicked off, and they'll be probably starting in 2020. And but the reason I say, I don't shiver when anybody comes in as competition, because we have patents that protect our process. If somebody can come up with something better, well, there's going to be lots of room for many, 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 many players out there as time goes by. But also, to get attention to our own recycling story, I mean, we've been all over the world, and we get responses from all over the world. It's not like we're unknown, but we're in a phase, and that phase is that we're in kind of like the development and feasibility stage. Now, we've just about completed the pilot plant work, and we'll be able to start working on third-party submissions, mostly from battery manufacturers and or battery and EV manufacturers. So that puts us into another ballpark. Now, what I'd like to say, just going back to the previous talk of the three major companies, was finally talking about a budget on what they're going to spend the money on for recycling. You've seen a lot of talk by companies that are saying they're going to recycle batteries. They don't have a budget. They don't have a timeline. They just have just state just like getting up in the morning and just saying, well, I'm going to recycle batteries today, and we'll build a plant in a couple of years. It doesn't happen that way. And so it's pleasant for me to see that there's actually a budget in this latest release, which tells me that something is going to happen going forward. And seeing as you're using government money, it'll definitely mean that things will go ahead. And what's that do? That attracts attention to recycling. They'll be talking about recycling, other people will be talking about recycling, and we won't be the only one out there pushing the envelope. And that usually reflects in the market, because people start doing due diligence on what's out there and what's available. And I've seen this happen on several occasions over the years, especially in molybdenum when we were the only one there. And then the market cap within 3 years had gone from a $5 million market cap to a $300 million market cap. And that's what excites me about these new players that are coming on the board. But there's also an interesting article in Visual, and I'm just trying to remember the name of that group. They put out a visualization every day on what's happening in the market, and they visualize the life cycle of a mineral discovery. And that's interesting, because if you follow along, and I've attached this to this podcast, if you look at the life cycle, you'll see that, there's a concept and pre-discovery period of 4 to 5 years. And we've just gone through that. We've had a concept, and we've had everything in about 3.5 years is what's taken us to get to that point. And then they have the discovery period, which we've gone past already. And then they come into the feasibility stage, which we will be through in 2 or 3 months, because we don't have to go through everything that they have to do to show the feasibility of this project. And then as you enter the development stage, is when the market takes a big run, and then it tails off during the actual production stage. But I'd like people to take a look at that, because you're looking at 10 to 12 years for this to happen. And I think we're looking at less than 5 years to actually have some production coming online. So that's really important, because there's a lot of articles, and the most recent one I read was where actually this article said that the cheapest way to get the cathode materials was to go out and mine them. And that's not exactly the case. I mean, if you look at this timeline, you'll see that it's fraught with risk, and we've pretty much de-risked our project. We have 2 patents. We have a patent pending after this final work that we're doing right now, and then we can move into the actual feasibility and development stage, which will not take that long. We don't have to do resource studies and all that sort of a thing. But it just shows that the curve is just perfect for us. I think we're coming into an area where everything is going to start to come together for the company. It hasn't been an easy road. We've spent over $6 million, $6 to $7 million on development of this project. And there's no shortcuts to doing that. So, people have to remember that we protected our technology by patenting it. And the interesting thing is we got our patents through in 13 months and 4.5 months, and which tells you that nobody was on the same game page as we were. And so that really makes me feel very confident that we have an answer here that can solve the problems of lithium-ion batteries, specifically in the electric vehicle stage. And that's where the big bulk of the batteries go. And so that's a big part of the message today. And I'm just going to say that we had on our letter from the Economic Standard, we're up to 19,000 openings now. The last letter, and of course this letter is on the super royalty reform, which would hand China a lot more than rare earths for leverage. And the first letter was on rare earths, or just the beginning, and how the U.S. can break China's metal grip to foster innovation. So, and that one had 82,000 openings while it was up. So we're happy with the response that we're getting. And these articles are done by myself and on behalf of American Manganese, Inc. So it's also exposing the company to, in this so far, over 100,000 new readers. So we have, that's been a big success, and I think you'll see some of that reflected in the market. So all I can say, Jim, is that next week's another week, and hopefully we'll be getting a little closer to designing the plant and complete the feasibility study. And right now, it's not going to change much from the initial feasibility we looked at. But you have to remember that we have taken a little longer with this study because as we moved through the process, we saw ways to reduce costs. And that's going to be really important going forward, especially if you have competition and you want to have that those areas patented as well as the initial patented. And so we're happy with the progress so far, Jim.
Larry, for people who are new to American Manganese, what are you all about?
American Manganese is a critical metal company that's developed a process and patented it in 4 countries for the treatment of very low grades of manganese to produce electrolytic manganese metal and electrolytic manganese dioxide. Metal for specific uses, and dioxide for batteries. And we were able to do that at a similar cost at that time to what China was paying to develop the same products. So, and they were using grades that were 20 times higher than ours. So that's a big plus. And we took that technology and we developed a technology around that allows us to actually recycle the lithium-ion cathode materials out of the existing EV batteries, and that's our major focus right now. You can get all this information at our website, AmericanManganeseInc.com. You can follow us on the market at on the Toronto Venture Exchange, AMY, on the U.S. Exchange, AMYZF, or in Europe under the symbol 2AM. You can always contact the company by phoning the company at 778-574-4444, or you can email me at lreaugh, L-R-E-A-U-G-H, at amymn.com.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome.
I've been speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on September 13th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.